Today, you're either going to start your self-editing form or continue working on it if you already started it in class. But this self-editing form looks just like this here. You've got a section for yourself, me, on the left-hand side, and a section for a peer, another student, on the right-hand side. We're going to ignore the right-hand side for now, and we're going to focus on the left. You're going to go through each one of these descriptors for your cover page, your introduction, each of your chapters, your conclusion, and your bibliography to make sure that you have each of the elements that you need to make your biography as strong as it can be. So I'll start with the cover. I'm going to take a look at my final draft and my cover, and I want to make sure that I have the information that I need. I need to have a title that has to include the subject's name. Neil Armstrong, One Small Step for Man. Okay, I've got that. I need to have my name, my teacher's name, the due date, and a picture of my historical figure. So I do have a picture, but it's not of Neil Armstrong, so I'm going to want to change that. And I haven't yet changed my name, the date, and my teacher. So I'm going to have to put a little X here in the no. And when I finish my checklist, I'm going to go back and make sure that I add that. And you know what? I think I might even just highlight the things that I need to change because I don't need to change my title. That's going to help remind me that those are what I need to focus on. I'll do the same for my introduction. I'll make sure it has an effective hook, that it includes my thesis statement that gives the overall message or the major accomplishment of my person, and has a transition to the next paragraph. So those three elements. Let's take a look. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong said these famous words when he first stepped on the moon. Okay, so there's my hook, grabbing the reader's attention. I used a quote, got that, including a thesis with the main thing he did. Neil Armstrong was a famous astronaut during the 1960s. He is most known for making space history and paving the way for more research. So there's my thesis or his major accomplishment. And the last thing, I need to make sure I have a transition sentence that moves the reader from the introduction to the first body paragraph. Let's take one more giant leap into this essay to read more about Armstrong's astronomical life. All right, so I've got that. So I can put an X in the yes column for the introduction. I don't need to go back and do any revisions with that. The next step would be to look at each of my chapters and make sure that I have each one of these elements, a minimum of 2 subheadings, some supporting details, that I've either used block paragraphing or indenting. Indenting is this space here that you see, and you achieve that by hitting the tab button on your keyboard. I have some second order details where I go more in depth with facts that I say. I use transition words and sentences. Taught my readers different things, included different kinds of facts and details. I made choices about which information was best to include and not to include. So as I'm reading through, I'm going to want to think, is all this information most important? And I told the story of my subject's life in chronological order. So I'll read through each of my chapters and either check yes or no for that. And you'll continue through the rest of the checklist in that way. When you're finished with the checklist, give yourself some time to go back and change those things that you highlighted or any places where you marked no, not yet, so that you can edit your final draft.